On 8th of March 2014, Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 took off from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing Capital International Airport and was never seen again. This flight flies in the correct direction for about 20 minutes. But in the middle of the night, this flight crossed the Malaysian coastline and reached above the South China Sea, and it was normal till this point in time. After this, there was no news from this flight. The Malaysian Airlines flight disappeared suddenly. But what happened to the flight? Stay tuned and don't miss one of aviation's biggest and most captivating mysteries. There were 227 passengers on this flight, 10 flight attendants and 2 pilots flying this plane. Captain Zaharia Ahmad Shah, 53 years old, one of the senior most captains in Malaysian Airlines, highly experienced. And First Officer Fariq Hamid, 27 years old. It was a training flight for him. After completing this training flight, he would have been fully certified to become a pilot. The aircraft was carrying passengers from 14 different nations, including 3 Americans, as well as people from China, Indonesia, Russia, and France. Among them was a celebrated group of 24 Chinese calligraphy artists coming from an exhibition of their work. 2 young Iranian men on the plane, 18-year-old Poria Noor Mohammad Mehrdad and 29-year-old Delavar Sayed Mohammad Reza, were traveling on stolen passports to seek better lives in Europe. 2 of the US citizens on the plane were young children, Nicole Meng, 4, and 2-year-old Yan Zhang. At 1:21 a.m., Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control didn't notice anything unusual initially, thinking the plane had flown out of their radar range and entered Vietnam's airspace. Meanwhile, Vietnam's ATC saw MH370 enter their airspace but then disappear from the radar. They tried to contact the plane, but there was no response. After 18 minutes, Vietnamese controllers informed Kuala Lumpur that MH370 had vanished. In such situations, Kuala Lumpur's Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Center should have been alerted within an hour of the disappearance. However, it took 4 hours before an emergency response was initiated. By 6:32 a.m., when the plane should have landed in Beijing, it was clear something was wrong, and a search operation began. MH370's route from Malaysia to Beijing passed over Vietnam and the South China Sea, so the initial search focused on that area. The search was an international effort involving 34 ships and 28 aircraft from 7 countries. Despite this, no trace of the plane was found. 4 days later, on March 12th, it was revealed that while the plane had disappeared from civilian radar, a military radar had spotted it. Shockingly, the plane was last seen at 2:22 a.m., not over the South China Sea, but near the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, far west of its expected path. The plane was flying north, away from its intended route to Beijing, raising many questions. Some speculated it could have crashed in the Himalayas or Kazakhstan. Later, satellite data provided a clue. Although the plane only tried to communicate with the satellite without transmitting its location, scientists used this to estimate its possible whereabouts. They calculated that the plane could have been within a large circle, known as the satellite handshakes. The 7th and final handshake indicated the last point the plane tried to communicate. This final estimate, known as the 7th arc, suggested the plane could have crashed 2,000 kilometers west of Australia, in an area largely unexplored. By April 2014, surface searches were called off and deep ocean searches began, making this the largest and most expensive search operation ever. Despite years of efforts and $160 million spent, the operation was unsuccessful and ended 3 years later. In July 2015, a breakthrough came when a piece of debris, the plane's flaperon, was found on Réunion Island, east of Madagascar. In 2018, Ocean Infinity, an American company, took over the search under a no-find, no-fee contract. They explored the seventh arc, discovering underwater volcanoes and cliffs, but ultimately failed to locate the plane. Investigations into the passengers and crew led to multiple theories, including a hijacking or a technical malfunction. One theory accused Captain Zahari Shah of deliberately crashing the plane, but no evidence supported this. He was a respected and experienced pilot with no history of mental health issues or personal problems. Two Iranian passengers, traveling with stolen passports, were briefly suspected, but investigations revealed they were likely asylum seekers trying to reach Europe. The terrorist theory was eventually dismissed. The most probable theory suggested that everyone on board, including the pilots, may have lost consciousness due to oxygen deficiency, leaving the plane to fly on autopilot until it ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean. Over the years, outlandish theories emerged, from alien abductions to US military cover-ups, but none held any credibility. Finally, in 2022, retired aerospace engineer Richard Godfrey claimed to have solved the mystery using radio wave technology. He combined data from British Inmarsat satellite figures, Boeing, Australian oceanographers, and a new WSPR-net technology. His analysis pinpointed the plane's likely location on the seventh arc, 4 kilometers underwater, in a spot previously unexplored by Ocean Infinity. While some criticized Godfrey's methods, he believed a new search within a 40 nautical mile radius would yield results. By the end of 2022, he predicted the plane could finally be found. Drift analysis of ocean currents further supported Godfrey's theory, as 27 pieces of debris from MH370 had washed up on various islands, including Madagascar. This evidence aligned with the idea that the plane crashed near the seventh arc. In March 2022, Ocean Infinity committed to resuming its search in 2023 or 2024, pending approval by the Malaysian government. In 2023, Ocean Infinity was reviewing data from their previous 2018 search to ensure nothing was missed. CEO Oliver Plunkett hoped to resume the search in the summer of 2023 using Ocean Infinity's new Armada vessel. In March 2024, days before the 10th anniversary of the disappearance, Malaysia said it would consult with Australia about collaborating on another expedition by the Ocean Infinity team. In the aftermath of MH370's disappearance, a massive search ensued that continued for 4 years and cost millions of dollars. Even after official recovery efforts ended, amateur sleuths continued trying to locate the ill-fated plane, which disappeared from radar less than 40 minutes into the flight. But is the mystery of what happened to flight MH370 any closer to being solved 10 years on? Or at least the mystery of where the plane's wreckage might be located? Some of the searchers who have been trying to solve this case for the past decade say yes. The cause of its disappearance has not been determined. It is widely regarded as the greatest mystery in aviation history and remains the single deadliest case of aircraft disappearance. So perhaps, in the near future, we may get to uncover the mystery about what might have happened. But I hope that you found this video informative. Stay tuned.